Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Gamers with Reason again, and if you haven't noticed lately, there's been a lot of videos about the GTX 680 by Nvidia, and I would like to take note of a bunch of things that people haven't even really talked much about, and a few things that people need to realize. You know what I mean? And let's get started. First off, if you haven't checked out any videos, it basically performs very close to the ATI 7970, and it performs around the same, slightly better, a little bit better actually, but not such a huge difference. But there's a lot of things that is great about this card that is good to take a note. Okay? Number one, power consumption. A lot of people have noticed that it has a very, and I mean very low power consumption. It takes nearly half as much power as all the other high-end cards have that usually take. And one example is that usually when computers are on standby mode, or if you're not using it for any games, you know what I mean, you're just doing basic tasks and stuff like that, usually cards will use around 150 watts. The GTX 680 will draw 86 watts. Now, that is very close to half, because half of 150, of course, is 75. 75 and 86 are very close. You know what I mean? So, that is a huge success itself. They basically figured out a way to get double the power for the wattage, 2 times more power for the each watt, and it's proven to be very effective. And another thing to take note, that the only downfall most people have noticed about the card, which not only a couple of people have actually talked about, is that it slightly heats up more than the other cards. In comparison, I guess you could say the most cards like that will use, this is just an example, like I said, be at 70 degrees or 75, and the GTX 680 will be at like 85. So it's a noticeable amount of more heating, but you gotta remember, this card is much more silent, much more quiet than the ATI 7970. And you know, think about it this way: if you complain, that's the only thing that anybody has found a complaint about, really, and that's a very small thing, considering that if you want it to run as cool as the other cards, just make the fan speed go up higher, as high until it gets as loud as the other cards, or not saying that the other cards are loud, but basically the same sound level of the fans. So I'm pretty sure by then it would be cooled down to pretty much the same. And this is pretty much the first single GPU card that supports 4 displays, and that, of course, is a really good thing. And a lot of people have been comparing it, of course, to the 7970, because that's the most high-end card by AMD. But one of the things you got to take in mind is that the GTX 680 is a 2 gigabyte graphics card. Now, dedicated video RAM doesn't always matter as much, but it definitely does make a difference quite a bit. I'm not saying that there's a reason not to get the 680. Oh, definitely get that card. But anyways, so if Nvidia had to step up their game, they could do something simple. Oh, now it has 3 gigs. That would definitely make an improvement. And you gotta remember, it performs a little bit better than the 7970. But you gotta remember, over time, the performance gets better. You know what I mean? Because of simple things like drivers for the cards. So over time, it's gonna perform even better, quite a bit better. And not only that, but you gotta remember, these are mostly beta cards. They might even make some improvements by the time they fully release the cards, which is just breathtaking. And a lot of people are comparing it against pre-overclock versions of the 7970. So really, above all, Nvidia could do a lot of things to outdo AMD at this point. I'm not saying AMD is bad, you know what I mean? But I'm just saying they're in a really good adjustable spot. In the 70, or not 70, not 70, the GTX 680 is a great card to get. Not because it uses less power, so it'll save you money on a power supply if you're trying to build a computer. Oh yeah, get a weaker power supply, save yourself quite a few bucks instead of having to go for, especially if you're running them in SLI, you won't have to get like a 1500 watt power supply and it won't cost you like $200 or $300. You could get like around a 1000 watt or 900 watt for around 100 for about a fraction of the price. So that is a huge bonus. That alone is a huge bonus. And you gotta remember, 7970 is a dual GPU card. The GTX 680 is a single GPU card. And since it uses about half the amount of wattage, if they made a dual GPU card, it could be a full blast, full power, just about everything. The only thing that would be something people will be wondering about is something small like, oh, well, it's going to be pretty big. I'm pretty sure they could pull it off, make it about the same size, or just slightly bigger, but you got to remember, it'll perform nearly 2 times better. I just don't know if they would make it 3 gigs, have 3 gigs, or 4 gigs. If they did 4 gigs, that'd probably make the price a little bit too high. But 3 gigs, that'd be good. That'd be a good one. So, this video basically is to tell you what you need to know of the 680. If you want benchmarks video, go to the motherboards org, or Linus Tech Tips, or Time to Live Customs, and who else? I think that's about it. And thanks for watching, and if you have any questions or anything else you would like to mention, please put a comment below. Thanks for watching, and see you guys in the next video.